A former Facebook employee shining a spotlight on what she calls the social media giant's destructive impact and calling on the government to impose stricter oversight with tens of thousands of secretly copied internal documents to back up her claims. That whistleblower accused Facebook of turning a blind eye to the platform's negative impacts while profits soared. NewsNation Washington correspondent Joe Khalil is live tonight in D.C. So, Joe, tell us what else was said during today's hearing.
Well, I can tell you, Nicole, Facebook has done what's proven to be really tough in this divided Senate, which is basically unite all Democrats and Republicans unanimously slamming Facebook for putting profits over people, and at least in principle today, agreeing that something needs to be done about it.
This research is the very definition of a bombshell.
That bombshell pointing directly to Facebook. Whistleblower Frances Haugen told the Senate committee today Facebook knew its content was addictive and harmful to users, especially teen girls, but ignored its own research for the sake of its bottom line.
There are going to be women walking around this planet in 60 years with brittle bones because of choices that Facebook made around emphasizing profit today. Or there are going to be women when they're in 20 years who want to have babies who can't because they're infertile as a result of eating disorders.
Facebook internal research showed its algorithms led teens on Instagram to content promoting eating disorders, sometimes leading to mental health issues, even suicidal behavior.
The choices being made inside of Facebook are disastrous for our children, for our public safety, for our privacy, and for our democracy.
Facebook's algorithm also directs users to divisive, controversial political content, often rank with misinformation because it tends to get more comments and likes. Haugen says Facebook contributed to violence on January 6th and deadly political unrest in Myanmar and Ethiopia.
What can you do?
Give a consumer of social media content an option not to get the algorithmic content.
Republican Senator John Thune says there is bipartisan support to regulate Facebook's algorithms and to get tougher on social media giants' ability to collect users' personal data.
Now, there is talk about amending Section 280. That's the law that governs a lot of these social media sites, and also at least some talk about removing some of the privacy issues that Facebook has had. So presumably we are going to see some action. Now, Facebook did put out a response in a statement, and they basically just attacked the credibility of the whistleblower today. Here's what they said in part about her. They said that she's a, quote, former product manager at Facebook who worked for the company less than 2 years, had no direct reports, never attended a decision point meeting with C-level executives, and testified more than 6 times to not working on the subject matter in question. So clearly, Facebook, they're not addressing the substance of what was said today, other than they don't agree with her characterization of it, but more going after the witness herself. Nicole?
Well, Joe, very strong testimony in front of those lawmakers. We know Facebook is a big political donor as well, and some of those lawmakers have actually received money from the company in the past.
That's right. I mean, we talk about Facebook executives. They've donated more than $3.9 million to members of Congress across the board. In fact, you're right, 11 out of the 12 senators who were actually on that committee that does direct oversight over Facebook, they have received donations from Facebook as well, anywhere from $5,000 to $35,000. So Facebook is powerful. They have an army of lobbyists, certainly going to be a challenge. It's partly why we haven't seen any real reform yet on social media companies, despite there being bipartisan support for it for at least the past couple of years.
Certainly not the end of this. Okay, Joe, thank you for that.